And this is Oscar Blue Ramirez. And yesterday, a live stream popped up, and he was talking to another journalist named Aaron Ibarra, who's in Sinaloa, who's in Culiacán, and they have this conversation.
There has been some kind of situations in the United States that are called swatting, right? Swatting, like the police officers, or they receive a fake phone call, and the unit goes into the address, and they say, oh, they reported that there was a crime over here. So they have a legitimate statement to go in without a warrant to do a search. Now, there has been several situations.
That's crazy, boy. You just get a warrantless search done on your crib because somebody swatted you. Happens to people on YouTube all the time. It's gotten people unalived. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. One minute you minding your business, next minute you got a warrantless search and a bunch of. Because to me, listen, man, I see the aggression in cops. To me, I don't see no different in them than I do with a gangbanger. It's all the same shit, as far as I'm concerned. So that energy comes in your house, and now it's looking for shit.
I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I want you to explain how this could be related, possibly. We have a lot of infiltration of the cartel, specific cartels in the borders to the United States. And they already have a lot of presence in the borders of the United States. They have been delivering pizzas to specific targets and to specific journalists. And they deliver the pizzas with the name of a journalist that was assassinated by a network that is called Infowars. And also they have been threatening other journalists consistently of this particular mode operandi that is delivering pizzas. Now, I don't want to take it to that issue, but you more than anybody know this mode.
Okay, I didn't hear that part yesterday. Again, I jumped into the stream a little bit later. I understand a little better. He's saying they're ordering pizzas to people's place under the name of a journalist that was terminated. I thought they sent the pizzas and this intel got a journalist terminated. That just sounds like a troll. Just hearing it from that line right there, it just sounds like a troll. Sounds like some nut huggers, some nut huggers that are really into the pizzas that play around and fuck around on the internet. That feels like trolls. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. That's a different level of trolling, right? It's a crazy level of trolling, but trolling indeed. So there is a possibility that it could be just trolling.
Can you explain a little bit what los Chapitos and la Chapitza, how can this possibly be related?
Yeah, first of all, we need to understand where are we standing on. I mean, this is a war, and absolutely no rules. Uh, mm, the early days when this explode, I mean, past September, uh, people from Culiacan knew that Mayos and Chapitos were at war. They're facing each other. The first topones, topon, we mean by topon when two rival groups collides with guns. So they need to send a message. The message always try to say, I'm above, I'm the best, I'm leading this war, etc. So the first message, they pile or something like that, or drop dump bodies in a pile within a wall, and left these pizzas boxes or pizza slices. No, when this happened, it's because these people was operating for los Chapitos.
See, but we never, and we even heard Aaron, Joan Grillo, even try to explain, because what he's talking about, he's telling the people, listen, man, during these wars and during these conflicts, these people identify each other. Maisa the pizzas, the hats the pizzas, right? And he's saying that when somebody gets smoked that work for the pizzas, that's when they put the pizza boxes and the pizza slices. Now, we've seen that. We've seen that in the gore section of our Discord. Firsthand. Domes in a pizza box. You know, daggers through a slice of pizza through somebody's dome. Like, we've seen it. Again, we don't know. And then we've also seen a group of people lined up on the street, covered in sombreros. But nobody has managed to be able to confirm which is which. If the hats are on you, did the hats end you? If the pizzas are on you, did the pizzas end you? Or is it the other way around? We haven't heard anybody confirm that yet. And to me, the dude with boots on the ground is Joan Grillo. But this guy seems to be a native from there. I've never heard of this guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we've covered his articles and I don't remember his name. But as far as I'm concerned, here on this channel, we haven't had anybody confirm which is which. We'll just take that with a grain of salt and keep it moving.
They made it his kind of signature. And is that the way they send messages?
So for people to understand what I am, and thank you for explaining, Aaron. So this is the video. The guy is called Owen Shore, and I don't know how to, particularly say his last name. It's really difficult to say his last name. So they swatted his house. It's a 3-minute video, Aaron. So I'm just going to play it with you on the screen so you can see what I'm referencing and what I'm talking about. And then they have been sending pizzas randomly to these places, which it has a connection. I don't know. I don't know if it has a connection or not. If the organized crime or the cartel is extremely upset, mad that a lot of these journalists, they are talking about, bluntly what is going on in the borders or what is going on in terms to the cartels and in terms to the organized crime operating at the border. So let me just play it so everybody can understand.
I think to realize what was going on, and I might have even, God is always have his hands on everything. I can't express enough gratitude and appreciation for the people that always pray for me, but then after stuff like this really remind me of that. But after I came out, and I think the second time, because they're kind of shouting and they're in their game mode. So the first time I said this is a false report, I don't know if they heard me. And then the second time I said it, one of the officers was like, hey, I think he's right. I recognize him. And said something else I can't remember. It's not really picked up good on the audio because my camera was so far away. But at that point, I think that they kind of realized, okay, I think we know what's going on.
2 minutes before we went live, 10 minutes ago, so about 14 minutes ago, Owen has cameras all over his house. Looks like the Situation Room at the Pentagon. Inside as well.
Alex Jones looking healthy, boy. That boy, he quit drinking or something? He looking way healthier than he looked last couple of years.
Great guy. It's war room of just news and data. We don't have a studio in there. It's amazing. And so Owen's getting the pings from his house 14 minutes ago. Pizza delivery. When he didn't order pizza, which they do after they SWAT you, which they do before, and then they can talk to the pizza place, engage whether you're home or not. Then they said that it's a harassment. A lot of times.
He said they do this before they SWAT you. They do it after they SWAT you. Maybe they talk to the pizza place, see if you're home. That don't make sense. I mean, what are you calling and telling the pizza place? And how many people are you doing this to that's not raising a red flag? How are you calling the pizza place and seeing if somebody's home? You're calling a pizza place. You're ordering a pizza. What would they do? Call in and say, oh, y'all didn't deliver my pizza? Like, I just don't get it.
Sometimes there's a little threatening note with it.
Okay,
after they SWAT you, which they do before, one's getting the pings from his house 14 minutes ago. Pizza delivery. When he didn't order pizza, which they do after they SWAT you, which they do before, and then they can talk to the pizza place, engage whether you're home or not. Then they said that it's a harassment. A lot of times there's a little threatening note with it.
Sorry, excuse me.
Because you can tell the place to give them a note. And they don't even look at what they're giving you.
Shit. Tell the pizza delivery guy to give them a note.
Shit.
They don't even look at what you're giving them. Shit. Everybody reading that shit. So if the letter says,
no, mommy's wait.
The pizza man know exactly what it says.
Ladies and gentlemen, 30 minutes ago, we got this from well-known influencer on X, Trump supporter, Dustin Gage. it needs to be said out loud. They're receiving a second pizza delivery for Jamie White. They show evidence of it. This is the name of the employee, the star reporter for InfoWars, who was murdered 2 Sundays ago. I'm not the only conservative influencer who's received this identical pizza order. Let's expand that if we can. Yeah, click on the actual image so you can see Jamie White's name, please. So this is absolute terrorism going on. This is racketeering. You know, it goes back.
So we go to profiles that they have been receiving this kind of things out on. This is a profile of a woman that is called Data Republican. It says, my husband has started
But
getting
about 11 p.m. last night.
unsolicited, it says unsolicited pizza orders. And this, you know, profile has like 736,000 followers. Then, you know, other profiles have been getting, this is the pizza deliveries that they have been getting, specifically orders to several different journalists. Also, this various district court judge is getting random pizza orders delivered into the same manner that various ex-creators also they're getting. Now, a lot of these people are saying that these pizzas are being delivered as a threat. Also, this profile by the name of Aaron Durham has been also swatted, has been also being also Joe Pags. Also, you have, you know, other different types of profile. Chase Gazier, also from InfoWars, that they have been getting these kind of.
That's a lot of pizza. Somebody spending some paper on pizzas, all right?
Situations. Also, Nick Sortor, right here. You know, other independent journalists that they have been getting. You know, and also you got Sean Farash, I think it is his last name. He got swatted. Also, and you know, we go right here to the explanation that you know, basically Arone was telling us about the Chapitza and the Chapitza. Let me ask a blunt question, Aron. Do you think that it has a connection, or don't you think that it has a connection?
I couldn't tell it right. I mean, here in Mexico, when you
Are we putting up a poll?
find well, I mean, here in Culiacán, when you find a dead body with a pizza slice or a box of pizza, that's because someone from Los Mayos killed that guy, and that's a message. These people over here dead. These dead people over here work for Los Chapitos, no? And the other side also has his violence. So when the policemen found his dead bodies, they found them with a hat on, or a hat besides the dead body. So the message is these dead people work from El Mayo. So I don't know if it is related, but it's too much coincidence. I don't know if I made myself clear.
It's too much coincidence. Yeah, it's a lot of coincidence of what is happening over here. And there's a lot of presence of these criminal groups in the parts of the United States of America that possibly they're targeting a lot of the journalists in the United States now. It is really easy to target in Mexico. Really easy to target in Mexico. It's extremely easy to target in Mexico. Now, if you have some kind of advice, Aaron, that you are in a war zone, because in Culiacán, what has been happening for 7 months, this war, it is a war zone.
Albert Flores says the pizza is completely unrelated, but these pizza deliveries can be coincidental. They're going to a targeted group of people, that's for sure. They're reaching, in my humble opinion. Definitely reaching. The journalists are targeted, but not by Chapitos. Definitely an agency on the inside of the U.S., in my opinion. Sounds like some kind of op, right? Some kind of psyop, harassment. The equivalent of, you know, what do they do in the middle of these warfare where they just play loud music outside of somebody's house for hours and hours and hours and days and days and days, and some kind of psyop.
If you had some kind of advice for these independent journalists that they have suffered these kind of consequences, what would you tell them?
First of all, get out of there. If you think your life is at risk, you need to move on. I mean, not to stop writing, not to stop reporting, but you need to move, not be located that easily. I mean, they have found you somehow, so you need to move. You need to ask for help, maybe from. I don't know if the government will be able to help, but ask for help
Everybody laughs at that shit. It's laughable.
for others colleagues. Maybe I don't know, but the rule number one is to get out of there, because if you stay, you're putting your life at risk. Number two, always be uh, uh, locable. I don't know the word. Easy to locate with the people that surrounds you,
That
the
was close, bro. Locatable. Very close.
people who cares about you. If you have a colleague, always text them, send your location to these people. And number three, you gotta be brave. I don't know. It's very dangerous once you feel target. I strongly advise to get out of there, not stop reporting, but get out of there.
Do you think that these journalists that they're receiving the pizzas, they're targeted in one specific way?
I, I insist. I couldn't um, say that. I mean, it's kind of a blurry the message because of if Los Chapitos are sending that message.
Listen, the homie Zaya, they sent him. They swatted him, sent him pizzas, sent swats, all kind of shit. There's videos of it on his Patreon. Um, it's a common troll tactic on the internet, and it seems no different. It's just targeted right now. So it's like the gaming online trolls have influenced operations in the United States.
What I do think is that's a way to censor, to try to shut them down,
Of course.
or something like that may make him harsh. I don't know, but it's definitely a threat.
Definitely a threat. Now, this is it. A journalist was assassinated in the United States. I don't. This is nothing new for us. Mexico is number 3 in the world for assassinations towards journalists. Americans and independent journalists, they're thinking that they're not that easy to target and they're not easy to get. And now, do you think that it's more unsafe for them because of the enormous presence in the United States?
Yeah, once you became independent or freelancer, it's easier to get hurt by any mean, and not only from the organized crime, but other criminal groups, smaller criminal groups. Uh, let's think about that. There, when we start this chat, I was talking you about these several groups of um people that work with the criminal, organized criminals. So this bunch of groups are named La Chapitza. So maybe it's one group, maybe it's a lot of them. We don't know. What do we know? It's they're extremely violent, not only Chapitos, but also Los Mayos. This is a war, and if the war is over there too, that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I truly believe that there's something going on. I don't want to signalize and assure. That's my perception that something is going on because
Yeah.
that's something's going on. Something fishy is going on into that particular area and into these journalists. I wanted to add something for everybody to understand what what our country is going through right now in this specific war, Aaron, and what you have gone through in your city of Culiacan. What do you think that is, you know, almost, if it wasn't for this administration that is right now, what do you think that it would have happened? Because the trauma, the psychological trauma that the children are suffering in your schools, and the anxiety that the Culiacan and people are suffering, because there's a lot of anxiety that this doesn't end. 7 months.
Yeah.
Do you think that this would have been,
Those people been under them people been under that pressure for more than the 7 months. For a long time, the people of Culiacan been under that pressure.
it would have already crossed to the United States? if something was not, would have been stopped like that?
I don't know. It's very hard to tell that. I mean, it's not an issue of one single administration. We're talking about uh, years and years, decades of corruption, of people pointing his side to other sides. I mean, it's like a structural problem,
Hmm.
not just because President Trump and President Sheinbaum are managing to try to uh, watch the borders. I don't know. What I do know is that this problem is getting bigger and bigger because of decades of corruption from both countries.
Now, we talked about something when I was over there in Culiacan, and we agreed on something. They moved the Kimpings and the drug lords like it was a chess piece, and they put
Yeah,
somebody back. But the ones that they are in charge, they never are extradited and never put, where it's supposed to
that's
be. Can you explain that a little bit?
yeah, that's not my point. I mean, a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, 29 kingpins of both cartels, even Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, several groups of organized crime were sent to the United States. 29 people. Some of them just apprehended, just arrested. So the war keeps going, and I mean, this morning, one policeman was murdered by 1,000 gunshots. I mean, a
Wow.
thousand gunshots at his car and a police
Wow.
station at the south of the city, Los
What is that
Huizaches.
story? I
We
gotta see
drove
hear
over
that. We
there.
ain't hear about that
So
because nobody care about one policeman taking 1,000 shots. That make it a little different of a story right there. Um, and his argument is that it didn't work. He said they extradited 29 people, some that were arrested recently, some that were stored away, and the war continues. Mexico as a whole has been under that anxiety since '08. Facts.
it keeps happening. They keep putting in jail these kingpins, these big fishes, but politicians still living happily and heavily. I mean, they they still getting his paycheck.
Mm.
They go to the Congress. They go to the uh, uh,
He's basically telling you who the criminals are, man. He said, yeah, they sending these guys, but the politicians, they still get their check. They still doing their thing.
uh, city hall. I don't know, but they're still there. They're still there working and smiling and getting those selfies because they paved this street or built this little wall. I don't know, but they're corrupt so at a high level that this narco war it's in a huge part because of them because
Mm.
they stop to do what they have to do.
Well, I want to thank you, Aaron, for coming in for a moment. I know that you're busy.
Hey, he said it clear as day. He said it clear as day. He just told you who the criminal is or who's in cahoots.
And I know you got a lot of things to do. And we
Which is a touristic place in
Let me see what
7 months,
seven
man. Now
months,
this war has affected and how this war keeps going on for 7 months. 7 months,
seven
man. Now
months.
it's just bad.
Well, we are quickly approaching to the 8th month.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel exhausted.
Are you
I
you're
mean,
tired?
yeah, I'm very tired. I mean, by writing every day about this violence. I mean, a week ago, a quick story. A week ago, in Mazatlan, which is a touristic place in Sinaloa, at the south from Culiacan, it's the second biggest city from Sinaloa. There's the sea. It's a beautiful place. Well, three boys, three youngsters from Querétaro, get there to have a birthday party from one of these people. They are disappeared. His family don't know where are they. They just vanished. I mean, more than 1,600 people last year were disappeared. You want to know how many the district attorney have solved from that disappearance? Zero. 100% of impunity.
It's a complete disaster. But we have a president that says that the
This sounds like a journalist that actually gives a shit. This guy right here.
abductions and the missing people are not forced. That's
Well,
what she says.
well, that because when you get disappeared, they ask you gently with the gun in his hand. I mean, hey, Oscar, I'm an armed people. I got this AK-47. Can you please come
Can
with
you
me
please
to
step into the car?
say please let's go disappear you
Yeah,
gently.
let's go
Disappear
disappear.
you.
You know,
Come
I
on.
want to say something, Aaron, because a lot of people don't know how bad it is. And you told me something that nobody has ever told me before. The way that the Culiacan people think. The Culiacan people prefer themselves to die and to be found than to die and to be disappeared.
Yeah, I mean that's the extreme fear. I mean,
Wow.
your life doesn't end with your last breath. I mean, when your heart stops, when your vital signs just stop working. Uh, they say they stops when nobody can name your name again. So let's imagine that I got disappeared, but my family doesn't have a body to bury. So they keep naming my name with the hope one day they can find me. I mean, that's terrible.
It's there's a viral video of this man that is asking somebody just un huesito nada más decía no más, just a little
See,
bone, give me a little bone
see,
fraction, that's the only thing that I want. That's
something
how
like
bad
that.
it is. So I just want to I want to invite later on Aaron so he can explain to us the war situation. I wanted to invite him to talk about this situation which is happening to the journalist, because he's a journalist and he works in the middle parts in this war. Not easy, people. Let me just tell you, it is not easy what Aaron is doing. Why do I put these pieces of the puzzle together, and why do I believe that it has possibly a relation? Why do I believe this? So I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I put everything in perspective, because now the cartel has jumped the border and they're fully operating on the other side of the wall. So this is my perspective. This is from my optic, right? So the Chapo Guzman, the kingpin, has Los Chapitos, and Los Chapitos, they created this little group that is called Chapitza, that is, as he said, is an umbrella of different types of groups, and it's a plural. Chapitza is talking about, romanticizing the little term Chapitos. And the last term, CHA, pizza, it is a slice of pizza. So Los Chapitos, they have been leaving the trail of their crimes, and it's a slice of pizza. And also the opposition, which they are going at war, is Los Mayos, and they're been using the slices over to use as a slice of pizza to say, this was them. So right now, it sounds kind of fishy what is happening to these kind of broadcasters, these kind of influencers, these kind of people that they are in the United States receiving pizzas with the name of a journalist that it was targeted. And
Yeah, I mean, that pizza shit been happening before this war. That pizza been happening before they called them the Chapitos. That shit's been happening, man. So I too think I feel like it's a reach. He's doing what he saw a connection, he made it happen. I do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a journalist. He's a journalist, so.
And it possibly, it sounded like he was targeted, but he was assassinated, and he worked for InfoWars. Now, I've said this before when it happened. I called on
So
the
he's talking about the InfoWars reporter that got smoked.
Influencers, these kind of people that they are in the United States receiving pizzas with the name of a journalist that it was targeted, and it possibly, it sounded like he was targeted, but he was assassinated, and he worked for InfoWars. Now, I've said this before when it happened. I called on the all independent journalists in the United States and say, watch out. You have a lot of presence of these people inside of your country. You know, you're safe, but you're not that safe anymore. You know, these people have the ability and have the audacity to go over there and try to threaten you. And like Aaron said, it's a kind of like a method or a idea of censorship to keep you quiet, which it makes you understand that it has a correlation or some kind of a, you know, significance that the cartel of Mexico uses a slice of pizza to send a message. And right now, journalists in the United States are receiving pizzas as a message of stay quiet, don't talk, you know, sending a message from, you know, a journalist that passed away and was assassinated or was targeted. His name is Jamie White. God rest his soul. You know, so we don't know about that. But in my own, from my perspective, from my optic,
I briefly looked into the Jamie White thing. They said they don't know if somebody targeted him or if he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I try to correlate a little bit of this and explain to the American people how the cartel operates with symbolism and how they operate with these kind of
yeah, Papas, but if I would have never saw that happen to anybody else, it would probably feel that way to me. But pizzas and swatting go hand in hand with internet trolling. Just it's something that happens. If it's been elevated to a point where it's ending up at the house of journalists and shit like that, well, somebody's just taking a tactic that kids made popular. Boom.
Situations. So every single cartel leaves a trail or sends a message a different way. It comes exactly like what they have done with, you know, decapitation people, you know, leaving a head, or, you know, and on the bottom of the head, they will leave a banner with you know, with a message to the opposition or to the people that they want to send it to, dismember bodies in certain particular ways, burned bodies, you know, just today.
And here's the thing. If this is, because to me, this feels like just good old American internet trolling, right? And let's not give nobody no fucking ideas. I mean,
today they were found 2 burned bodies on the east side of the city of Tijuana. Outside of a school, they left these two burned bodies. So it tells you the level of insecurity and the level of violence that we're living. You know, it's a war, and a lot of people don't see it.
Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Was it the trolls? Was it the Chapitos? Or was it China? All right. I should have put the CIA on that
like
list.
that. And, you know, it kind of like it trickled and it jumped into the United States of America, but it's a friendly war, as I can say.
Don't get it fucked up. There's guys from the other side that are on this side of the wall operating. That is just a fact. Do I think that they're sending pizzas and SWATs? No.
In comparison to Mexico, it's a friendly war. It's friendly. Why? Because it hasn't jumped into a point that it's this violent as it is in Mexico right now, right? So, but what I'm trying to explain is put attention to these symbolism and to these kind of signatures. You know, to Alex Jones. I don't know. I don't think that you're listening to me, but if you are listening to me, put attention to this. This is not your average, typical, you know, sign.
Yes, it is. It's happened. I know people it's happened to. So if the ratio is that much that I know someone, more than one person probably that it's happened to, and then the ones that I've seen that I don't know, we could pull up a compilation. If that didn't exist, maybe. But this is a common internet troll situation.
Your average, typical, you know, mode operandi from somebody trying to use a pizza just to bother you, just to harass you.
Yes,
possibly it can correlate.
No, Papas. It's very easy, and it happens all the time. It's been happening for years. As long as there's been live streaming, it's been happening. Right? As long as there's been live streaming, it's been happening. There's a horror movie in there somewhere. I just got to write it.
To an organized crime. I don't want to blame the organized crime for that. I don't want to, you know, target one specific cartel because it brings a lot of problems. But I'm just saying it's a symbolism, of a criminal in a targeted activity. And you need to understand how aggravated this problem is. Now, another thing that I want to say to everybody, in Mexico, a lot of journalists have been shut down, and a lot of journalists have been targeted, and a lot of journalists have been threatened. And this is not a lie. This is a reality.
No, we saw it. We covered it.
Violence and insecurity that we live. It is completely different than what American journalists are living. But now it is slowly moving into that direction. Why am I saying this? Because now there's a journalist that was targeted. His name is Jamie White, and he passed away. Now you're seeing houses continuously being swatted. And that, I will tell you, how easy it is to just go in there and just take away, remove the problem. And it is so easy to do that. I have said so many times before, and I will say it again. The organized crime and the cartel has grown under the Biden administration, has grown 2 times stronger on technology, on artillery, on territory, and financially, and in infrastructure also. When people ask me, why you say technology, Oscar? You say technology because of weapons. I don't refer that only of weapons. I refer as how they are monitoring social media. I will tell you, I just posted a video on X about how they are using influencers. Just today, another influencer, blogger, got assassinated from this particular group that it was targeted because they were aligned with a specific criminal organization.
Yeah, everybody who's aligned, you're in the game. They coming for your ass. Right? You aligned. You picked a side. All right, that's my my gut feeling is this is trolls. If it was something that I had never seen before, then maybe it would have changed my mind. But release more details on the unaliving of InfoWars reporter Jamie White as search for suspects continues. March 11, 2025. The investigation into the unaliving of InfoWars reporter Jamie White continued Tuesday, and the Austin Police Department announced the victim likely terminated during a burglary. The APD responded to a call about a shooting in South Austin at around 11:56 p.m. Saturday night and found White, 36, lying on the ground in the parking lot with apparent trauma to his body. White was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased at 12:19 a.m. on March 10, 2025. Homicide detectives and crime scene specialists respond to process the scene and interview witnesses. The initial investigation shows that White was shot and unalived in the parking lot at the apartment complex in which he lived. The suspects then fled the scene, police added. Detectives believe the suspects were possibly burglarizing White's vehicle. Okay, that makes sense. When he interrupted them. Well, there you have it. According to Fox 7 Austin, there were 57 crimes reported at White's apartment complex in 2024, including vehicle thefts, aggravated assaults, and at least 1 burglary. Aaron, a friend of White, told Fox 7 the journalist stayed at work late before he was unalived. Literally, right when he got home, all that happened, Aaron said. It's crazy that he's gone, just like that. I keep going back and forth between feelings of anger and sadness. Aaron also said that White liked to stand for truths, as do I, and he spoke up for what he believed in, as do I. His work was his life, she said. He loved going to work. He never slacked off at work. His articles were very well written. That was what he was meant to do, was to write articles. I really don't think he was targeted because of where he worked. I think he was just targeted because he was right there in the right place at the wrong time. In a statement, InfoWars blamed White's termination on the policies of the Soros, Austin, Texas DA Jose Garza. I mean, The conspiracy theorists or Infowars are just as bad as the Trumpsters, just as bad as the Bidensters, and it's all the same circle jerk. Same as the Maizas and the Chapitos with their jerseys on. Same old shit. Everybody's identity has become their politics. We pledge that Jamie's tragic unaliving will not be in vain, and those responsible for this senseless violence will be brought to justice, the statement said. Jamie's important work will be carried on through Infowars, our readers, and our cherished listeners. The APD is asking anyone with information related to the case to call them. So that don't sound targeted either. If you put that together, that's another reach. The fact that they put his name on the receipt, that's just another troll. Sounds like classic trolling to me, so